Hello students, welcome to another session of biology. Today we are going to discuss about AIDS, which is a topic of chapter 8, Human Health and Disease. So let us begin. AIDS stands for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. It is due to the deficiency of immune system and is acquired during the lifetime of an individual, indicating that it is not a congenital disease. That means the disease is not present from birth onwards. The word syndrome in AIDS means a group of symptoms. So let us see now when AIDS was reported. AIDS was first reported in 1981 and in the last 25 years it has spread all over the world, killing more than 25 million people. Now let us study about the causative agent of AIDS. AIDS is caused by human immunodeficiency virus or HIV. It's a member of a group of viruses called a retrovirus. So AIDS belong to a group of virus that is known as retrovirus. Retroviruses have RNA as the genetic material and can make DNA on RNA template with the help of enzyme reverse transcriptase. Hence they are called retroviruses. Retrovirus has RNA core enclosed by viral protein coat. So now let us study about life cycle of HIV. As I told you earlier, HIV is a member of a group of viruses called a retrovirus. And this retrovirus has a viral protein coat and viral RNA core. HIV attaches itself and binds with the plasma membrane of the T helper cell, that is a macrophages, and introduces a viral RNA into the cytoplasm of the cell. Here, single strand RNA genome of the virus replicate to form double stranded viral DNA with the help of the enzyme reverse transcriptase. See the diagram once again. Here you can see that HIV virus infects a normal cell. Then it introduces the viral RNA into the cell. Viral RNA is replicated to form viral DNA through the process reverse transcription in the presence of the enzyme reverse transcriptase. The DNA synthesized is viral DNA, that is the DNA of the virus. But this viral DNA incorporate in the host genome. Inside the cell is the nucleus. Once the viral DNA is inside the host cell, it will enter into the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, the viral DNA will be considered as its own DNA by the cell. As you know, DNA is the main genetic material. DNA will undergo transcription to produce RNA. Thus, new viral RNA produced by the infected cell. From new RNA, new viruses will be formed and they will be released out of the cell and they will infect other cells. From that cell, new viruses will be formed that will be released out of the cell and infect other cells. Multiple new viruses are formed. In this way, the macrophages continue to produce virus particles and hence act like a HIV factory. Simultaneously, HIV enters into helper T lymphocytes, replicates and produce progeny viruses. The progeny viruses released in the blood attack other helper T lymphocytes. This is repeated leading to a progressive decrease in the number of helper T lymphocytes in the body of the infected person. During this period, the person suffers from bouts of fever, diarrhea and weight loss. Due to decrease in the number of helper T lymphocytes, the person starts suffering from infections that could have been otherwise overcome, such as those due to bacteria, especially mycobacterium, viruses, fungi and even parasites like a toxoplasma. Now let us study how does AIDS spread. The infection from the AIDS virus occurs only when a person has sexual contact with an infected person. It can also spread by blood to blood contact as in blood transfusion, or AIDS can also spread by sharing infected needles as in the case of drug abusers and blades or razors. Even the smallest amount of infected blood left in the used needle or on blade can contain AIDS virus, which can be passed on to the next user. From an infected mother to fetus through placenta, if a woman is infected with AIDS virus and becomes pregnant, she can pass the AIDS virus to her unborn child. So these are some of the modes of infection of AIDS virus. Although the AIDS virus has been found in tears and saliva, no instance of transmission from this body fluid has been reported. There is no danger of infection with AIDS virus by casual social contact or by sharing cups, towels or food. Also, there are no known cases of AIDS transmission by insects like a mosquito or pets. Let us study about symptoms of AIDS. Once an individual is infected, the body may respond in many ways. Swollen lymph nodes and fever are some of the early signs. Decreased count of blood platelets lead to hemorrhage and fever. Sweating at night and tiredness is another symptom. Weight loss and loss of appetite is another symptom of AIDS. AIDS virus may attack nervous system causing damage to brain. It may lead to memory loss. Since AIDS virus destroys the protective immune system of the body, the person becomes susceptible to other infection. Then other germs like bacteria, fungi and protozoan infect and destroy the body. Now let us see the category of people who are at high risk of getting this infection. The high risk groups who become infected with the AIDS are individuals who have multiple sexual partners. The second group is drug addicts who take drugs intravenously. The third group of people are individuals who require repeated blood transfusion, and it can also spread from children born to an HIV infected mother. Students, do you know when do people need repeated blood transfusion? Some conditions that may require blood transfusion therapy include anemia, cancer, hemophilia, kidney disease, liver disease and severe infection. So, it is important to note that HIV AIDS is not spread by mere touch or physical contact. It spreads only through body fluids. It is hence imperative for the physical and psychological well-being that the HIV AIDS infected persons are not isolated from family and society. There is always a time lag between the infection and appearance of AIDS symptoms. This period may vary from a few months to many years. So the time lag, that period is known as the incubation period, and that varies from few months to few years, such as 5 to 10 years. Students, we have seen that HIV affects our immune system and weakens it. As a result, the person becomes susceptible to other infections. So, is there any treatment for this disease? Till now, there is no complete cure for AIDS. Treatment of AIDS with antiretroviral drugs is only partially effective. They can only prolong the life of the patient but cannot prevent death, which is inevitable. As there is no permanent cure for AIDS, let us see how can we prevent AIDS. Sometimes, due to poor monitoring, infection in blood transfusion patients newborn from mothers may take place. The only excuse may be ignorance, and it has been rightly said, don't die of ignorance. In our country, the National AIDS Control Organization and other non-governmental organizations are doing a lot to educate people about AIDS. WHO has started a number of programs to prevent the spreading of HIV infection. Some of the ways through which we can prevent HIV infection are making blood from blood banks safe from HIV. The second is ensuring the use of only disposable needles and syringes in public and private hospitals and clinics. The third preventive measure is free distribution of condoms. We have already studied that condom is used as a barrier method, as well as it also protects the person from sexually transmitted diseases. The other point is that controlling drug abuse. And we can also prevent the spread of AIDS by advocating safe sex. Means sexual contact with unknown people should be avoided. And the next point is promoting regular checkups for HIV in susceptible populations. Now let us study about the diagnostic test used to detect AIDS. A widely used diagnostic test for AIDS is enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, or ELISA. Infection with HIV or having AIDS is something that should not be hidden. Since then, the infection may spread to many more people. HIV/AIDS infected people need help and sympathy instead of being shunned by society. Unless society recognizes it as a problem to be dealt with in a collective manner, the chances of wider spread of the disease increase manyfold. It is a disease that can only be tackled by the society and medical fraternity acting together to prevent the spread of the disease. Thank you.